Yeah, cause I've been trying to hit both y'all up. It seems like we're playing fucking phone tag, yo. It's 12. Yeah, 12:30 in the afternoon. Oh, okay. Well, right now you and Dave is on the stream. Just letting y'all know that right now. Ew, he trying to show off that he got a haircut. All right, hold on. Let me unplug my headset so the stream can hear ya. Hold on. All right, go ahead. Y'all good.
Let's go. Yo, folks.
They can hear you loud and clear now.
Are you gonna order the Xbox One from Amazon and have it shipped to your house so they can ship it there?
Alright, and Nelson, I don't know if you want to upload this to the YouTube, but NFO fans, I have limitations out here. Apparently, Amazon will not ship an Xbox One directly to me, so I have to send it home, then have my brother-in-law mail it here. So from when my brother-in-law mails it, it takes 21 days to get out to me. So it could, I might as well wait till like later in the spring or something like that, because it's gonna be a long wait for me.
But that's kind of sad because Toys R Us and a couple other stores are getting massive stock for this console.
Yeah, I mean, I can order it in my house.
You might as well get it so you can have it by January.
Yeah, but the thing is, my problem, like Xbox Live doesn't work out here. Like, the way, you know how Xbox Live, like, it has to be set up direct, or I don't know if it has to be
like this what you should do. Have your order it with the games, have it shipped to your house. Have your brother-in-law update the system and download the patches where you then ship it out to you.
Well, you know what? I'll have to give him all the access to the passwords and all that good stuff. Alright, I'll give him a call. I was on Skype with him about 10 minutes ago. So I'll work on that because like this Killer Instinct is download only, right?
Now.
Yeah, it's
for now.
Like they're talking about coming out with a disc version, like after season 2, but right now it's downloading.
Now you know what? Just like a podcast topic, this is why it was so smart for Microsoft to take away that DRM and browse online, because look at where I am, and I don't have reliable internet. Now how would I have been able to use the system? You know, it would have just been like, like you can break for me, so.
I mean, you have no internet access out there to download nothing?
No, I do.
Limited access.
Yeah, the thing is, like, if I have a PS3 and I'm online with that, I can still get games that way because it's not set up the same way the Xbox does. So if Microsoft has to just change how the system logs onto the internet because, blocking folks out for whatever reason is just stupid. Because in Iraq, I had to buy the internet from the service provider, send it to my laptop, and I had to use Connectify to tether the internet to my Xbox. And that's how me and Shin Jackman were playing Ultimate Marvel when I was in Baghdad.
Who's your cell phone? Because
well, the Verizon won't work out here. I already asked.
T-Mobile has worldwide tethering if you get their unlimited data and talk and text program. So that's what I got, and you can tether from wherever. So you can
I'm gonna try because they got the cell phone shop over by the PF. So I'll see. Since I have a half day tomorrow, I'll go see what they can do.
Dude, if you have a half day tomorrow, like you can do the podcast.
But But ideally, like this time, like on a Saturday midday or like Saturday night for me here, this way I don't have to rush or anything like that. So I mean, it depends on everyone's availability. Last week I was supposed to do that surprise thing, and then it is what it is.
Hey Nelson, when we do the podcast, you gotta wear your headset because you can't, like, there's a like real echo on the
Ali
YouTube.
G.
But the thing is, here's the problem where it lies. If I wear my headset, the streaming device cannot capture none of your voices at all.
Oh, because it goes directly through.
It goes directly through the console, and if I do it through the headset, it will disable the connection of the audio, and it'll put all that feed into the headset. The only reason why the stream couldn't hear me as much because accidentally I lowered my mic volume because people say I was too loud at one point. So the only thing I have to do is just probably speak a little bit louder to the connect, so you guys can actually hear me better.
Now, actually, since Nelson is streaming it, he sounds the clearest. So I see why he would have to control his volume so that it's not like
Right.
Somebody
And if you heard from the last podcast, I put their audio up to like a good peak, so you heard them clear as fucking day from that point.
And let me tell you, doing the podcast with Xbox One Skype, the quality was just ridiculous, man. Like everybody was like clear, coherent, perfect, no hiccups, and it makes things a lot easier for production. So I just want to make sure that this is a standard going forward.
Well,
But
for now,
you know what, Nelson? Is there any way we can upload this later?
yeah, it's streaming right now. So whenever I'm done with this, the stream, I can just clip it and upload it straight to YouTube.
Okay, I just want to say hi to NFO fans. I miss y'all. I'll be back in June. I think June 8th is my return date. So, we'll get everything set up and we'll do a nice little countdown and all that good stuff. So, it's going to be fun. And Nelson, I got some plans. I'm not going to say live, but I got some plans. I got to talk to you, Mike, and Dave about it because I want to expand.
All right.
I want to expand, meet some partners. So, we're going to take care of business.
Should I wear these glasses on the stream or should I wear the other glasses?
It doesn't matter what glasses you wear.
You know what? I wanted to ask y'all about something. Now, this whole thing, Dave, that you were talking about with the shipping of the Xbox One with the whole grinding issue. Now, you remember how, PC CD-ROMs would work like they had the magnet or whatever? Could it be possible that the magnet might have got knocked loose or something? Or is it
That's
like
what
a
I'm.
complete tray?
It's not a tray system, so it's a front loading disc tray. So
Yeah.
when you put it in, the disc sucks in. But what I'm guessing is that this doesn't seem to be a widespread issue. Like, and from the video of what I've seen, the kid like just turned it upside down and
then he hit
on the
it.
bottom. Yeah, you saw it, right?
Yeah.
Like he hit it a few times and then it worked fine. So what I'm guessing is like this is like it got jostled around in shipping and the magnet that holds the disc in place came loose, and by hitting it he managed to.
Now, me and Demizzle used to fix computers back in high school and college and whatnot, so we know exactly what that is, but for the average user, like, they're not going to know what to do, so Microsoft should have made sure that they quality checked that to make sure that it's bump proof or however they're putting the styrofoam.
No matter how shock proof you make a disk drive, it's still prone to. If you drop it or mishandle it, it's still prone to that piece coming loose because it's such like a small piece, but it's an essential piece at the same time.
Now, how is the PS4 drive different from the Xbox drive?
It's the same thing.
So
It's
how
the same
did
thing, but more than likely the reason why this hasn't happened to the PlayStation is because the PlayStation 4 is more compact. So there's less.
it's a lot
jostling
slimmer.
around, whereas the Xbox One is a lot bigger, and there's a lot. When you open the Xbox One, like a lot of the space inside of the Xbox One It's just that it's spaced. It's not like filled by anything. So there's a lot of room inside.
Now, since you two have the system, and I'm pretty sure you'll agree with me, Microsoft looks like they designed it to just be like a stay-at-home entertainment unit. I don't think they had it in mind where it's like a pick up and go, like the 360 Slim. I can take
I
that wherever.
I kind of disagree with that. It's more
In what way?
designed because it's more designed with the sense of dissipating heat. Because when you open it up, the fan is the size of a case fan and not a standard CPU fan. So the
Okay.
fan is it's like that big
hmm
around. And
But if you think about it, Dave, like remember back in the day when we used to lug around the Sega Saturn to my house and whatnot, or we'll go to Tanisi's house or whatever, and
yeah,
it's like, look how big that Xbox One is. You're gonna stick that in your book bag, ride on something on your bike, and take it to your buddy's house? I don't think kids nowadays are gonna do that. And remember, they're not like us, so
well,
that's
it's
just.
not difficult to lug around, but I see where you're coming from. But the purpose and how it was designed, you can when you open it up, you see what it was designed for, why it was designed the way it was. Because the Xbox One has four separate vent spaces on it, like two on the side, one like half of the top is a vent, and the entire back is ventilated. So it's built in mind to dissipate heat really fast. So it
Okay.
doesn't build up inside, so they won't have the problems that they had before with the
Uh-huh.
original Xbox 360
With the red rings and all that.
Yeah,
But you do know that that red ring thing was just something where the system wasn't thoroughly tested because the board, all it did was the board bowed. And then the GPU sync came undone. And they're like, oh, yeah, it's a defective system. No, it was just wear and tear.
it's just a
It
case
worked.
of it's just a case of screws not being tightened to maximum. If you tighten the screws in 90% of the cases of that, it would fix the problem.
Yeah, true, true, true. But Nelson, with your Xbox One, do you see yourself like saying, let's say I invite you to my house when I get back, right? Would you be willing to take that in a book bag with the power brick and the Kinect camera all and like lug that around on the subway or something? Like,
Well, I won't bring a book bag per se, but
Just
I could
bring the
still,
actual box.
I can actually bring it over by putting it back in the, hold up,
Yeah, because the box
by bringing it back in the
always has a
factory
case.
box. I'll put it right back in here, and I have a suitcase that I bolt down with a lock. So if anyone's gonna try to take it, that's impossible. So
uh,
I could lug it around with
Like-
wheels.
but let me tell you, just to caveat real quick on the PS4 shooting, I wouldn't want Nelson carrying that around, like drawing attention to himself. You know what I mean? Like, people are busy these days.
It's not even these days. It's not like it's an isolated thing. It's funny how the Nelson's Connect is trying to zoom in on the Xbox One box.
Because the thing is,
Oh, me.
the thing is, from what I read, whatever is on the left-hand side, it will focus on that side only. Whatever's on the right-hand side, it will have to
That's how
visually
the
see you
counter is
first.
calibrated,
Yeah.
Because
It's like
remember, the camera is right here, not on this side. It's on the left-hand side of me, so it's gonna only focus on this side.
Move the box.
right? Because it's like zoom in.
It's focusing
I have to
on.
say-
Nah, it has to recapture me again, and then it'll sit still. That's what it has to do. It has to capture me again, and then it'll sit still. But this is fun.
Now, just for the new fighting order fans that didn't know, this Connect that you're seeing now is what Connect was always supposed to be. Nelson, remember when we were at Comic Con and they had the prototype Connect back in 2010?
Yeah.
I remember we were talking to the guy who had the dev kits out, and they were saying, they flat out said they had to reduce the size of the Connect and remove one of the processors. That's why you still have delay and whatnot. But to make it like, lagless and response, delay free, you know how much that thing's gonna cost? Then I know Microsoft is taking a loss on each system that they sell right now Like, I mean, how much does it cost to assemble and connect? I'm sure the Mizzle already saw the numbers where just like Sony was losing money on each PS2. If you, it's gonna take them like a good like 3 years to start making that money.
See,
You
but
know,
that's
and
the thing. Like,
on your knees will probably be able to get those numbers since he's usually our statistics guy. But I know Microsoft is really taking a loss right now. But you were gonna say, Dave?
that's the thing. Like, consoles, like, companies don't make a ton of money off the console itself. They make their
Mm,
money off the games and services and peripherals they sell. Like, people are like, oh, Xbox is gonna lose. The console itself is on pace to lose $1 billion in its first year. I'm like, okay, that's great, but you don't take into account other services like Xbox Live. You don't take into account digital games that are sold. You don't take into account DLC. You don't take into account none of that licensing agreements. You don't take into account none of that stuff when they say, oh, Xbox the console is Xbox One is on track to lose $1 billion. I'm like, that's great and all, but what about this other stuff that's going to offset that loss? So
mm-hmm.
that's
Well,
why I don't pay
and
too much, and that's why I don't pay too much attention to those kinds of stories because they don't take into account all that stuff.
this is true. This is true. But you know what? I wanted to actually touch on something that there are two Facebook people that I deal with from time to time, which will remain nameless right now. But they seem like they're being trolls. You know what I mean? And the one thing that New Finding Order isn't is we're not biased or whatnot. Like I plan on getting PS4, I'm gonna get an Xbox One, all that stuff is water under the bridge. However, you know, these false stories about Xbox One catching fire or, PS4s like getting the yellow light, whatever, I'm still out of the loop out here in this country, but I mean,
PS4 doesn't even have a yellow light. Like what it does is like
exactly.
when it's not working is like the blue ring will just keep going around the machine. Well,
Yep.
the
Yeah.
blue light will just keep going around the machine. It won't turn solid white to signify that it's on. I've yet to hear about an Xbox One catching fire. And
Now,
like the most I've heard is like it overheating inside of display case because there's no circulation.
yeah.
But the same thing happened with a PlayStation 4, so that's just a display. Like, because you know how Walmart and everything keeps their systems like under glass and everything, and there's no circulation whatsoever inside those cases.
Yeah.
So things of that nature, yeah, the system overheat. Under those conditions, yeah, the system will overheat. But under normal
Now, so Dave, why are these trolls like so focused on wanting the competitor system to fail? Like for instance, they're drawing on Nintendo. Remember how all of us was going in on Nintendo and their horrible decision making
I
and
don't. It's
yet
like I don't want them to fail, but it's just like too glaring to not recognize what they're doing wrong. It's like I want Nintendo to succeed in the worst way because they have, as I said on the last podcast, they like my phone. Like like Nintendo, they made this amazing piece of technology, like I said on the last podcast, but they don't know what to do with it, and the people like they get developing for it, they don't know what to do with it either because it's like, okay, what do we do to truly take advantage of this other than put like mini maps on the thing or
yeah,
quick
that's true.
select thing? It's like there's so much you can do with that, but it requires an original game to do it with or a developer to truly step out of their comfort zone to mess around with, and it's like, okay.
But Dave, let me ask you this. Isn't it funny now that, let's say, now the Vita 2.0 or whatever, the Vita Slim is coming out. There's nothing that the Vita hooked up to a PS4 can't do in terms of what the Wii U was offering. You know what I mean? Now it's like, damn, what is Nintendo gonna do to set themselves apart? Look at like with motion capturing and the Wii gimmick. You see how Microsoft and Sony took it and made it better. You know what I mean? It's the same thing that's happening with Sony. And it's how Sony's CEO was like, "Oh, we need Nintendo to succeed," but yet you made the technology with the Vita and the PS4 to do exactly what the Wii U is doing. You know what I mean? So it's almost like contradictory to you get what I'm saying, right?
Right. It's like the reason why they need to succeed, well, both Microsoft and Sony do, is because Nintendo kind of creates a market that allows the younger generation to. They want Nintendo to succeed, to act as a bridge between Nintendo and Microsoft, or a bridge between Nintendo and Sony for those younger gamers. Because they don't want the younger gamers to become jaded right off the jump.
This is
Like,
true.
okay,
This is true.
so
But you know, Nelson, I think it's safe to say everyone in this chat has started off with Nintendo or Sega, right?
At one point, yeah.
And then they grow up, they mature in content, and they move on to, Sony, Microsoft, or what have you. You know, I went through the progression. I went through Nintendo, Sega, stayed with Sega for a long time till the Dreamcast, but then moved on to Sony. Then from the PlayStation 2, and then to the Xbox realm. You know, Nintendo's that gateway. They're like marijuana, like for those who get into drugs or whatever. Like they start off and then they get hooked. So if you take away that primer, which is Nintendo as a company, what's gonna happen? You know, and here's the thing, and I don't give a damn what these fanboys, Sony fanboys are gonna say, but I think Sony is showing concern because if Nintendo does fall, they'll probably buy up all their stuff. That's something I predict in the back of my head, and it's outside of the realm of possibility.
I don't think Nintendo as a company will go away because the Japanese government won't allow it. It's a historical company that's been around for over 100 years. It's been around since like the late 1800s. So it's not going to
doing
go
card
away.
games and stuff.
Right. It's not going to go away. If anything, they'll merge with another company similar to Sega, what Sega and Koei did, and
Yeah.
what else? And Sammy.
But
And Sammy did.
speaking of mergers, didn't Sega just acquire the parent company to Atlas? And now they're talking about reigniting some of these franchises like Skies of Arcadia, and that was a great RPG for the Dreamcast. You know,
Sega since doing third party, has been doing very well, like from a financial standpoint. So I think that's where
Nelson looked like he's doing karate.
in his Wii pajamas.
Yeah, my Wii pajamas. This
He
is
looks like
KI,
Daniel
but apparently we have the co-CEO joining us from Iraq, so this is not collusion. Just to let you know, Diablo. We have a little chat conversation right now.
Oh, I'm just saying hi, visiting the company, and everything. You know.
Alex, are you colluding?
Oh, negative. Not from out here, but hopefully I'll be joining you guys on Xbox One and Xbox Live again. It's funny they charge my bank account like, oh yeah, you're renewing your Xbox Live and I can't even use it. You know, so.
Oh yeah, they just what the fuck? I was reading that they were still doing games with gold on the 360, and they just added Gears of War 1 to the library now.
It's a permanent program now. So
Oh, that you see, that's good. So the PlayStation Plus fans, like Microsoft don't give nothing away. Hey, there you go. You know,
See,
both companies are copying off of each other.
I like how they started that, but Microsoft really needs to step it up with the Games with Gold program, because come on, these are games that you can get in a bargain bin for like $10, $15. You gotta give us something kind of at least recent-ish, like a year old, maybe 16 months old.
Nah, it's gonna come with a hefty price. That's not gonna happen, dude. That's not gonna happen.
How come?
Because
Is it Microsoft being money grabbing?
it's that, and same thing with Sony. They do the same exact shit too. Anytime when they have a month for a free game or your choice or whatever from their library, it's from a backwards catalog from at least like half a year to a year ago, or probably even longer than that. They're not gonna give you their most recent title right off the bat.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying like give us the most recent stuff. I'm saying like at least be like Sony, give us something like that's at least a year old, not like early in your catalog. You know?
That I get, but Microsoft's take on it, just like what they did with the backwards compatibility with the 360, they're only choosing the games that actually sold money. Like anything that became a greatest hits on the 360 is actually coming back as a free download. If you haven't noticed, all the games that we got has hit either platinum or like, you know, highest ratings when it came out.
Oh, so pretty much it's like, hey, they already made their money off of it, so hey, just give it out for free.
Bingo.
So,
Bingo.
so I mean, if the company feels that they still can get something out of it, then they're gonna try to, hey, you know, we're gonna try to take every opportunity we can to charge you for this before we just like say fuck it, you know. Rather unfortunate, but that's companies have to stay afloat.
Sony, you're not forced to
Some of
pay
the
to
younger
play
audience
those.
don't understand.
Same
They
thing
just
with the
like, I want this, I
Xbox.
want
They're
that,
no different.
whatever. I mean, they gotta do what they gotta do. That's speaking like giveaways and online and whatnot. Like, how is Nintendo combating Sony and Microsoft's efforts in trying to give away free content since they don't have such a robust online environment? Would Nintendo be able to compete with doing that?
As from my understanding, I don't think they have anything right now unless if they do something with their virtual console, which I don't think they're implementing in the Wii U. I don't have one right now, so I really can't say for sure. But I know their 3DS sometimes gives away free little content, not something like extravagant or anything like that, but like once in a random blue moon, they'll give away some free content, whether if it's a trailer, whether if it's a little demo, you know, shit like that.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? Speaking, you know, something just came to mind. The Wii U remote, the pad, it can't be used independently, right? It has to be in proximity of the system or hooked up to the system, correct?
No, that's not true. That's not true. You can use it standalone without having the console near it. It's just your preference of choice, though.
Now, how does the games, like, how do the games feed into the remote? Like,
Streaming type.
It's like a
It has
remote.
to be like
It's like a remote plays the same exact shit. It sends the signal to the wireless thing of the pad, and it picks it up by Bluetooth,
Yeah.
and it's the same thing like the Vita with the P4.
But
I think
my
range
question
on it
is-
kind of limited though. You have to be within like 100-foot radius of where the console is for it to remote play. But it's similar to the PlayStation Vita. It's similar to the PlayStation Vita in that you can. start
The
a
same thing
game
with
on the
PlayStation
console.
Plus, dude. It's nothing different. You still have to pay for
Yeah.
PlayStation Plus to get early access to
But
games.
They
And free shit.
They didn't intend for it to like go outside of the house.
Sony's not making any money off of what they're doing, so what you're talking about is like basically making them lose money.
somewhere within the vicinity of the console in order to do it.
You know what? I would have liked to see Nintendo break that ball and chain, the gimping of that pad, if you want to call it that.
See, you can't do it like that because then they would be undercutting their own product with the 3DS and the 2DS and stuff like that. So if
But you know what? That's Nintendo's fault, Dave. Look, why are they putting out so many versions of the 3DS? Like, stick with one.
You also have a choice to pay for Xbox Live Gold. You don't have to necessarily get it.
Release the 2DS,
It's depending on your preference.
but if they made the range like the Vita, you can use it over wireless networks to stream your content up to like 10 miles away. Is it? Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring. Can I
But
bring?
you know what?
Can I bring one thing up?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because apparently there's a viewer talking about something that we discussed some time ago. I guess we'll bring it back up. The likes and dislikes about having Xbox Live Gold and what limited access you have, and what with PlayStation Plus and limited access or not. Like, what do you favor of being better? Having PlayStation Plus that you have a choice to pay to get free content or early access and have free online multiplayer without being a Plus member, or having you to be an Xbox Live Gold member and having to pay for all this access? Because the way how I see it, the way how Sony's trying to do their thing on the PlayStation 3, having free multiplayer access and certain ideal ways to get your content, they're losing out on money. That's just my opinion. If you guys are not charging for your internet access to play online at least like $40 or $50 a year, you're losing out. And there's a lot more people, from my understanding, that have a PlayStation 3, way more than an Xbox 360.
Yeah, well, with combined with the fans.
Yeah.
The numbers are about even. Xbox 360 is slightly ahead worldwide, but I get what you're saying. But what I'd rather have is, like, if the service is good enough, I'll pay for it. And Microsoft's Xbox Live is like a very excellent service. Even though you have to pay for access, you literally get what you pay for. You get stability. And with the 300,000 servers, like, you don't get, like, have you played Killer Instinct? Like, for those people who are questioning this, like, go and play Killer Instinct online. It's like, it's smooth as butter, even with the worst connections. Like, occasionally you'll find somebody with a really, really, really shitty connection.
Yeah, because they have the rollback feature, like some portions.
Like Third Strike Online.
Well, not exactly, because GGPO is limited to the rollback feature because you can still use your own internet access. The way how KI works, it uses an entire dedicated server on rollback. But the thing is, there is rare occasions that I've read, I'll say like a small percentage, that there's sometimes a desync issue with the rollback feature. There will be an instance where the Dark Side Phil, he was playing someone online, right? And he was playing in the match, but apparently the person disconnected on him on his view. But the other person was still fighting Dark Side Phil but not moving. And the match was still going on and he got the win from it. But that's a very, very rare occasion that happens. But by far, for a fighting game, this is the best netcode ever made for a fighting game.
And that's, I guess, the difference between
and plus,
PSN
like,
and Xbox Live.
when you play, also, like, when you play Forza, also knows that your girlfriend is a bad driver.
Damn.
No, I'm dead serious, yo. I am dead serious. When you play Forza 5, you get that drivatar thing that, like, makes an AI of how you drive and uploads it to the server, so you're not just playing standard AI. Yeah, and you really get to see something like that in action because of, like, Xbox Live Gold. And it's not like Microsoft is pocketing all that money. You see how they expanded their services a lot. So any money that they make from Xbox Live, they're putting right back into improving it. So whereas Sony, they haven't really put that much money into their infrastructure. In fact, they've, like, farmed a lot of it out to Rackspace, which has servers down here in Roanoke, Virginia. So I've actually seen the building and everything. I actually had an interview with them once, and it's a good company, but Rackspace also has a lot of different accounts other than Sony. So it's like you have Microsoft owning all their stuff versus Sony owning some of their stuff and then farming it out to other server operators such as Rackspace.
And usually that can get sticky because when they want to say, hey, I want control over how we handle it, like, you gotta go through so many channels to make it happen. But I do want to hit on something between the comparison of PSN Plus and Xbox Live. Before I get started, we all know that PS4, in order to do online multiplayer, you have to pay for now, right? The only reason Sony tried to skate under the radar with that, because the bad PR that Microsoft was having with the DRM issue when Xbox One was initially announced with all this online and all this other stuff. So Sony felt like, hey, let's sneak this in because it doesn't look as bad.
I don't think they snuck it in because they flat out said it at E3 during their presentation that PSN Plus would be required to play online. But
not initially.
No, they said it was, like, right in the
Yeah, they did. They did say it because they needed the money to be able to pay for the dedicated service that they self-proclaim right now that they need to have.
It would cost less than $5 a month, which is $4.99 a month.
Which is the exact thing. It's the exact same thing as Xbox Live. It's $4.59 a month if you break it down after the taxes. So those are the fanboys who are talking about, oh yeah, I'm gonna pay for PlayStation online multiplayer. Can't complain about Xbox Live. The only leverage that they have, Microsoft, fix this. They can use Hulu, YouTube, and all that stuff without being locked out of a financial or dollar barrier. Where and you know what, the Sony fans are right. They have access to these things that are locked out on Xbox because hey, you can't use it under silver. It has to be gold. Like with my sister, I have her account, and being that I'm not in the States, they did the new terms of service or whatever, and her Xbox expired or whatever, her online stuff. I have to go and redo the whole thing, pay for it again. So I'm paying for two Xbox Lives account, and while she could have been like on the video chat with me, no, I gotta have it paid for. There are certain things Microsoft should just let go. You know what I mean? You have to pay to use something you're already paying for. So, like people like Black Dragon and Cool Breeze, who watches the show, he's right in that realm. However, when without those two black guys, overall, I've been on both. I was playing Street Fighter Cross Tekken on the
You see, you're
PlayStation
talking about two
Network,
different
and then
things.
I took it
You're
back.
talking
I
about
just don't like
360
the
and
setup of
PS4.
the
You're talking
PS5.
about the new
I think
consoles
it's
now.
more
If you want to go backwards, you can talk about
on
that.
the Xbox. The whole format, the outlook, it's just you get what you pay for. It's better, But it's my opinion, just like the whole thing with Review Tech and how I don't agree with some of the stuff he said in his video is my opinion. But the Xbox has better online overall, but they should not lock out YouTube, Facebook, all those things that you can just use by default on PSN on a silver account.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys agree with that.
As I agree with that to an extent. Like things that you pay for, you should be able to use without an Xbox Live Gold account, like Hulu, YouTube, Crackle is free, so you can
Yeah.
use that whenever.
But even on the silver
MMOs.
account?
No, Crackle is something that you don't have to pay for. You can go on Crackle.com and just watch whatever.
Okay.
But I agree. Anything that you have to pay for, you shouldn't have to have Xbox Live Gold to use. Like even
lock it,
MMOs that are coming down the pipe, they're gonna have monthly subscriptions or yearly subscriptions, and I don't think you should have to have Xbox Live Gold. Like for Elder Scrolls Online, you shouldn't have to have Xbox Live.
Yeah.
Use that. But as far as the Review Tech thing goes, I agree with him. Like he said that the Xbox One wasn't for him. And I've heard similar sentiments regarding both consoles. Like, this
I
is the
think it's
reason
too
why.
early.
No, he said he's like, this is the reason why you don't buy launch full consoles at launch, because of the software lineup isn't there for most people, the features lineup isn't there for most people, and the people that usually buy launch consoles are like sold on the features that will be there at launch and the games that will be there at launch. He flat out said like the games aren't there yet and the features aren't there yet for him. It doesn't apply for everybody. The same thing can be said for PlayStation 4. The features quite aren't there because both systems are literally coming in hot. Like there are regular updates, getting stuff online that weren't quite ready on day one. And I understand where he's coming from. So it's like he said he'll get one again eventually, but I understand where he's coming from.
Now, I've had that same feeling when I got the Xbox 360 in the beginning. I'm like, man, the potential. I just can't wait till they really open their wings and take off. So, that being said, it's like, hey, you know what? I don't know what the future holds, and we'll just, take it from there. But I just wanted to end on one note, though. Did you see the comparison video with Need for Speed Rivals, the PS4 version, and the Xbox One? I think it boils down to, if you're really eagle-eyed and you're looking, the only thing, both systems seem to handle lighting effects differently. Other than that, they look exactly the same. Exactly the same. John Carmack was right on the head. Like, I looked at, even with 2K14, like, if you see how the lighting effects from the arenas hit the players, and how, it's just, I think that's one major difference. Also, they were talking about, yeah, you might have a higher 1080p, but they were saying like certain things with Call of Duty, it actually runs consistently smoother on the X1 as opposed to
See, a lot of people are making a huge deal out of that, and that's
yeah,
pretty much
it's
the
not a
only.
big deal.
It's not every game. People are like, oh my God, games only run at 720 upscale to 1080p on Xbox One, and that's not the case. Like
It's
NBA
only Call of
2K14,
Duty.
NBA 2K14 on both systems is native 1080p. So is Need for Speed Rivals, and like the only other game that's not 1080p native on both systems is Battlefield 4, and that's 720p upscale to 1080.
You sure? I thought that was just Call of Duty. I thought the Call of Duty was the only game that had the
No, Battlefield 4
720p.
is
Okay.
the PlayStation 4 version is 900p upscale.
Well, you're not
to
forced to get it. You
1080p,
chose to
and
want to
the
get it for
Xbox
one game.
version is 720p
That's on
upscale to
your decision.
Okay. Now here's the thing. 1080p is fine and good. I mean, it of course it's gonna look better. But
I mean,
here's
like,
my
if
thing.
you
Does it
don't have
matter?
if you don't have a television that's bigger than 40, if you have a television that's bigger than 42 inches, you'll notice it, and it's a very slight difference. But if you have a television that's like 39 inches or less, you won't notice.
You're not gonna see it. Yeah. Oh,
So
it's
that's
just.
a-
I just wanna.
it's just a dick swinging contest. Like, oh my God,
You
1080p
you still don't
native
understand.
Call
I
of
could break it
Duty.
down to you statistically. It's not.
You know what?
It's not
I,
running
I
smooth.
had failed to Dave. I had failed to realize that. You ever see these girls with these boy bands, and then it's like a group of girls like this boy band, another group likes this boy band, and they like argue with each other on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all that stuff. It just dawned on me. The same shit happens in the video game community. You got fanboys on one side, fanboys on the other side, making irrational comparisons and like, oh yeah, my system's better than your system, blah blah blah. You know what? At the end of the day, we're all gamers. We're all gonna enjoy the same shit. You
Like
know.
me personally,
However,
I want all companies to succeed, because when you have all companies succeeding, that means there's competition out there and they're pushing each other. Like, you know me, like before I was on the Xbox 360, I was a diehard PlayStation 2 fan. And like you saw, like when you came around to my house when I lived in East Orange, you saw my PlayStation 2 collection. It was like a big collection. But then
yeah.
I was like, PlayStation 3 just really isn't doing it for me, and I still have it. And it's been sitting here for a couple of months now, and the only game that I have for it right now is MLB The Show. Because I love baseball, and MLB 2K just hasn't been hitting it for me, so that's the only game I buy for my PlayStation 3.
Nelson, what you doing?
I'm just shaking because it's fucking cold.
Turn on the heat, man.
No, it looked like Nelson was doing something he wasn't supposed
Nah,
to.
it's cold because housing turn off the heat, man. Fuck.
Dude, why they turn off the heat in your building?
Cause they stupid. If they hear one person complaining on the 6th floor and she's like fucking 90. Oh my God, it's too hot. Turn it off. Hey, come on.
Dude, y'all don't have like individual boilers.
We
to,
do,
like your
but get this shit though. Housing recently came, and you know the knob to actually turn the fucking the radiator on or off to your
Right.
your level. They took the tops off and broke the fucking top, so you can't turn this shit. Everything is controlled downstairs now.
Oh, that's gay.
Yep.
That's when you hear.
So you gotta break out the electric heater now.
If I got one, I don't have one right now. I could get the heating pad and just throw it on my lap, but that's kind of ghetto as hell. You know, I don't want to do all that.
Dude, you better go down to the hardware store and spend like $25.
But
Buy Xbox One.
But just to chime in real quickly, NFO Okami has been doing the PlayStation 4 side of things for us for some time now, and he's got the console launch date. And just recently, he purchased an Xbox One Reasoning for that because he just realized that the PS4 is not doing it for him no more. At first, he was a diehard Sony fan.
You see him like playing Resogun like every day.
Right, he was a diehard Sony fan. He got the PS4 mainly because of Killzone, Resogun, and for the, I think it's called the Playroom, where you get to like make your own creations and like use the touchpad on the PS4 controller and flick it and make it do shit. He mainly got it for that. Then he started to realize like, oh wow, there's nothing else to play. I don't want to play that because that's garbage. I don't want to play no third-party game like Assassin's Creed, 2K, NBA Live, and everything else because it's on both consoles. You don't really need a third-party game or whatever. Call of Duty, same shit, whatever. And then when he got the X1, I'd say about like literally 4 days ago, he was like on the shit all the time. He hasn't slept in 3 fucking days because of the console. And he's mad impressed with it. So, from him, he's not biased either. It's just the fact that he knows that the PS4 is lacking right now. And he has to sit there literally until probably May or sometime in the summer for him to actually get something worthy. While on the Xbox One, he's playing Killer Instinct. He's able to go on Skype. He's able to watch all his content, do Snap. He's able to do all his shit that he wanted to do on the PS4. He could do it on the Xbox One, but better. Until the games come out. So
tell him to add me on the Xbox Live, yo.
Huh?
Tell him to add me.
You can add him, just go to his gamer's tag is Overdrive Space Wolf. That's his gamer's tag. You can add him right now.
But you know what, Nelson, you just hit it right on the head. You can do more with the Xbox One. You can, not just for games, but it's
all to me. The Xbox One is an all-purpose console. That's the reason why I got it in the first place. Not because of Killer Instinct. Well, kinda, but not just mainly for Killer Instinct. I got it because I watch a lot of TV. I can now play my game and watch TV at the same time. I don't have to sit there, change the channel. Okay. I could do live streaming when it does come out. Sadly, it hasn't been out for launch like the PlayStation 4. That's kind of sad. But in the sense, I'm still not being biased. It's just that the Xbox has more, for me, in a personal sense, to offer. I can do my podcast from my console now. I don't need to get on the computer no more. I can stream from my console. Don't need a computer no more either. I can watch my Blu-ray movies now. It's like, there's so much potential with this console. And the only thing that the PlayStation 4 has right now is some little key features like, okay, you can instant live stream, you can watch Netflix, Hulu, Crackle, Fox Network and all that for free if you don't have a membership. And from my understanding that it downloads the CD and the games a lot faster to the console, so it allows you faster access to the content.
That's Nelson. It's not like that. It's not like it downloads it faster. What happens is the way they operate is different. The way they install is roughly the same if you take out the way they operate. The way Sony does it is that it'll just install the game straight up and then you can play it. The way Xbox One does it is that it'll download any patches or updates first. Then it'll install the game, then you can play it. So if you just take,
I understand that, but I was here because, like I said, Okami was here in my house, and he showed me the PlayStation 4. I played it for roughly like 4 hours. He downloaded a random fucking game that he just bought. I think it was like Assassin's Creed or whatever. I say not even 2 minutes in, the shit was able to be played. Not even 2 minutes in. While on my Xbox, I had to wait literally maybe 15 minutes to half an hour to be able to play my game while it's still downloading. So there's a huge difference in the download speed.
Nelson did have a point there. They did say that the way that Sony has their drive set up, or just the whole infrastructure.
It's just the way it's set up. Like Sony doesn't download patches immediately. Like after it finishes the full install, then it's just a priority first. It's just the difference in priority.
And not only that, whatever is installed, it can already be executed. So what Nelson was saying is right. It's just like you said, they both of you are right. They just handle it differently, and then whatever is installed can be played as the rest of the game is installed. That's
Yeah,
pretty
I'm doing it
powerful,
from the
and
console.
I hope in the future
Watch, I'll show you right now.
Sony can get that. So props to Sony for that.
See, watch. I'll
That's
show you right
where
now. It's from the
guys
console.
will think we're biased and we're always
See?
gonna be pro
Yeah, I
Xbox.
appreciate
Sony.
that, but
See?
I appreciate how Sony does it, but if Sony, because they download patches in the background instead of requiring you to
No, they do.
download patches.
No, they do patches in the background too. You just gotta set up the option, just like with the Xbox. You have to set up background downloads and stuff like that. That's what happened with my Killer Instinct.
No, not on initial download though. Like when you first put in the game, Microsoft, the way they do it as opposed to Sony. Like Sony, when you install the game, you can install it and play it without the patch first.
No, I
without
get
any
that.
patches. And the way Microsoft does it is like it'll download any patches first. The initial patch, it'll download that patch.
You wanna know why it's
Then
doing
it'll
that?
start that.
You wanna know why? Because of the whole fucking DRM thing that they had to clear up. That day one patch that we had to download,
Yeah.
that was the initial thing. But the games didn't get converted yet because they wasn't in the console. Then they needed to reapply the same fucking patch, but to all their games. And that's the reason why it's done like that. But with the PlayStation 4, which I like a lot, you're able to install any section of the game. Say like if I get Assassin's Creed, right? I can either install the single player first, or I can install the multiplayer first of my choosing, if I want to play from whatever
That's
part.
really slick.
So,
That's really slick. But you see, that's the obstacle that they're gonna have to get over as the second generation of games come out, because you know that most of the companies are already set up to do the games with the DRM. So now they have to go.
Well, I'm
and
sure
do
by
the-
E3, you'll start to see like what Sony has with the Xbox One, since games that will be out by E3 will be have like started around this time or earlier, so they know what they're working with. They have like final dev kits without the DRM, so they don't have to worry about that. So I imagine that we'll see that. But yeah, I give props for Sony to doing that. How they want, how you wanna, if you wanna do a single player first, or if you wanna do a multiplayer install first. That's great, and I imagine we'll see Microsoft copy that sometime in the near future.
You know they will. All they're doing is stealing from one another. It's laughable, actually. You know, but it is what it is. But guys, it was great to actually be a anonymous guest or a surprise guest. But I will try to be on a little more regular than like Saturday nights for me are like the best time. So hopefully I get to see you guys at least once a month or twice. New Fighting Order fans, you're in good hands with the company. Nelson, Demizo, Shin Jackman, and Noop, they're doing their thing. Shout out to Shin Takuma. Nelson, that's his name. Everyone's gonna call him Shin Jack.
yo.
Shout out to Tanisi too, yo, because even though we ripped into you a little bit, we still love you, Tanisi.
Yo, brother no. But I gotta go, guys. But hopefully I get to watch this on YouTube. It's good to be back on our product again. So you guys hold it down as you've been doing, and I'll see you next time.
Alright,
Take it easy and stay safe out there.
All right, we'll do. Peace.
Yo, Dave, what happened to my match in KI, yo?